Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Look, the best pound for pound boxer in the sport today, none other than my favorite fighter as of right now, Blair the Flair Cobb. Man, what is going on with Golden Boy? I mean, Blair the Flair Cobb. He took a loss to Alexis Rocha. We get it. Rocha tore him out the frame. But Cobb did have, some success. Not a whole lot, but he had some success. Got himself stopped. Death by 1,000 left hands. Alexis Rocha against Blair Cobb. Rocha looked like a prime Juan Manuel Marquez, just a southpaw version in that particular fight. But long story short, when you talk about someone who's very easy to either root for or to root against, right? For me, Blair the Flair Cobb is easy to root for. Look, man, he's got the gift of gab. He's got personality out of this world. He's not overboard with his antics. And he's not the kind of guy who is going to come out here and burn bridges. Some people compare him to Adrian Broner. I think that's an unfair comparison. Blair the Flair is just Blair the Flair. But my thing is, we know he lost to Rocha, but he came back, got in the ring with Maurice Hooker, an ex-champion, right? Didn't take a tune-up fight, and was able to put that heat on Maurice Hooker, dropping him several times throughout the fight. Actually, nobody thought Blair the Flair Cobb was going to win that fight. But now you look at, he's in a holding pattern. He wants to fight. But De La Hoya doesn't seem to want to work with Blair the Flair Cobb because Blair the Flair wants money. He just knows like, hey, look, pay me what I'm worth. That's really the point he's at in his career. He's looking at what's going on with Virgil Ortiz, what's going on with Alexis Rocha, and he's saying to himself, what about me? Now, Virgil Ortiz, Mexican-American, Alexis Rocha, I believe Mexican-American, Blair Cobb is also Mexican-American. Now, for those of you who are wondering how I arrived at that conclusion, well, I'm going to tell you. In case you didn't know, Blair the Flair spent many years in Mexico with his dad, who just happened to be a fugitive and on the run, and Blair the Flair was with his father. So Blair the Flair cut his teeth on boxing in Mexico and became one of the fan favorites out there. Long story short, I think he has every right to claim Mexico as his home because he spent so many years there, and he has more of a right to claim it than guys who are born here stateside, although they may be of Mexican heritage, but they never, ever spent one day in Mexico. And that goes for anybody from anywhere around the world. Nevertheless, Blair the Flair is frustrated to not giving this man a fight. Even when you look at what happened over in the WBO, I always say these sanctioning bodies, they're symbiotic relationships, and they're going to put people in position who they want there. He's in the WBO right now. He's ranked at number 6. Did I click off? I know I got it right here. So check this out, right? Let me show y'all something. Let me see if it's gonna look nice. Okay, so let's just come here to the WBO. Okay, scroll down a little bit. Blair Cobb is number 6. Uh-oh. Oh, they just updated this. Damn. They just updated this. This wasn't updated this morning. I should have did a snapshot of it. But anyway, Yugis and Rashidi Ellis, they have been bubbled up above Blair Cobb. It wasn't like that this morning. All right. You can see the update on this, 21 March. Okay, so things are looking a little bit different. But nonetheless, they put Rashidi Ellis, Cody Crowley, and Yordenis Ugas above Blair Cobb, which I just think is a foul. So Blair Flair is agitated because obviously they're not trying to give this man an opportunity. So going forward, we're talking about opponents Blair the Flair could actually fight. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot of people who feel Blair the Flair against Adrian Broner is a fight to see. But I think Blair the Flair beats Adrian Broner, and I actually think he stops him. That's how good Blair the Flair is at this point in time. Because we know if Adrian Broner is going to fight him, AB better come to fight. People say Broner would knock him out if he let his hands go. I think they're forgetting that AB is averaging about 5-6 punches a round. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I think it's a great opportunity for both sides if they were to get in the ring, but I just don't think Adrian Broner is looking to do that. He's looking for something that's less risky. But even to fight him 147, that may be a little too much for Adrian Broner, in my opinion, at this time. But nonetheless, he's not an elite boxer, but he's well-spoken, entertaining, fun to listen to, but he can scrap. Okay, he can really scrap. But for him to really come out here and say, even Blair the Flair says he knows he's not necessarily elite, but he's working to get there. And that's just a statement, a very genuine statement that you don't hear a lot of boxers come out and make, especially about themselves. But that being said, he's going to keep promoting himself. That's about all he can do. I think he should be making gazillions of dollars because it's for fighters who are willing to market themselves, self-promote, and entertain, and make themselves vulnerable to the public. Could you imagine if a guy like Terrence Crawford was willing to make himself vulnerable, just where he would be right now? But it is what it is. Terrence Crawford is like a Joshua Buatsi. Guys don't want to get in front of the camera. They don't want to do that extra legwork to really put them to the next level. But anyway, we got to see what's going on, man. I'm rocking with him. Golden Boy should, if they don't want him, let him go. I think there's other opportunities for him out there, man. But it is what it is. He's going to keep calling out champs, keep putting pressure on De La Hoya to pay him more money. And it could be another one of those cases. Now, these aren't my words, but you always hear guys say that Oscar De La Hoya, he doesn't treat, in particular, he doesn't treat fighters other than his Mexican fighters. He doesn't treat them right. I don't know if I buy into that, but I could see the storylines reading something like that if Blair the Flair gets dropped or he goes on to do something different. I would hate to see something like that come out because I just think those are weightless claims. But then again, it's something that really does get thrown out there into the world and gets kicked around. So I could see that being a headline. But at this point in time, I just think De La Hoya doesn't have the money to pay him really what his market value. But I think he can find it elsewhere. He just has to make a decision and gamble on himself. But we'll see. He only has one loss. I don't know why people keep downing him so much. But anyway, what I hope they don't do is put Blair Cobb against Butaev. If they put him in against Radzab Butaev, he may have a problem. Matter of fact, Blair the Flair's hair may be on fire because Butaev is no joke. But that being said, he's interesting. He's a free agent. We'll see what happens. Shit, Cobb against Thurman would be a good fight, a real good fight. And Cobb's not going to quit. He's going to fight to the end. But he's calling out Ennis and everybody else. But we'll see what happens with him. I don't know. I'm sure sooner or later, the headlines are going to be reading Blair the Flair is back and going to be fighting somebody. As long as you got Freddie Roach in this corner, you got to give him a chance in any fight. That being said, stop sleeping on Blair the Flair. This man is the next coming of Mayweather, and that's one of my favorite fighters. Leave Blair the Flair alone. I'm in the breeze.